Hey everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to another episode of Coolcraft Season 7. Now, I realize that as these buildings get more intricate and complex to build, it takes longer to actually build them. But yes, as I mentioned at the end of the last episode, I would start this episode off by building this building here. Which, of course, as you saw in the time-lapse, is designed to go around my concrete converter. And I didn't realize how tightly I was cutting the actual, size of this thing until, I was building it. It was like, ooh, this is cutting into the glass here, or slightly more scarily. The redstone right here goes right up to the actual wall. 1 block away from one of these windows, I guess. I mean, I could have changed the color, but still, that doesn't change the fact that it was still extremely tight. So let's then hop right into the sacrifice for this episode, because, we got a busy, hopefully busy episode ahead of me, and I just want to get this out of the way. So once again, fast forwarding through this. Alright then. That also looks like it was successful as it was last time. So anyhow, now it's time to talk about what I did in the last episode. Or specifically, I'm going to also be telling Tyler what I did in the last episode. So just follow me.
Okay, where did you go, the Nether?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm a little bit scared. Oh my god, get out of the way, Gus!
You could just
okay, it's gonna take me a minute to get there because...
You can just go through them.
Are you going to Wither Skull Farm?
So that might be our destination here. More specifically, you have not participated in a season where I built this specific design for the farm. So I wanted to show it to you. So just get in there, get your sword handy. Then I'm gonna turn it on. Now face the other way.
Oh my god. I am about to piss off a bunch of piglins.
There's no other piglins around here, you're fine.
Oh man, I was just healing my pickaxe!
What a delayed reaction! Yes, so that is the actual operation of the farm. As you can see, that was quite fast there, and I don't even think it was truly cranking. I'll show you. Oh yeah, I guess we can go down here so you can view the storage
system. What's this
system.
door? Wait, hold on. What's this?
Spawn proofing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is the storage room. It's pretty basic. It's a storage room.
Pretty basic. It's just a storage room. Meanwhile, I see you have a crap loads of blaze rods in here.
This farm cranks. What can I say? Anyhow, let's go. I can show you the actual farm itself. Yeah. So anyhow, this is the top of the. This is where the actual farm, all the spawning platforms here. There are 3 of them in total. Although the original design, which was designed in 1.12, by the way, had 5 floors. I've just never been bothered to build the top 2 because it doesn't clearly seem to matter. Yeah. This thing is...
I go to spectator.
Yeah, spectator is the better way to see this.
This is the first time I've ever seen you. This is like a very unique farm. I've never seen this before.
Yes, I built this in Season 1 and 2, which obviously you weren't there for. But then in Season 3, when 1.16 came out, there was a less involved farm design, which I've been using since then. I decided for this season, why not go back to the original one? That is, well, obviously it's still quite good after 7 years.
Dang.
And anyhow, more to the point, I'm going to need a nether tunnel to come out this way. So
I can easily put this through here, alright? So when I do get the nether tunnel built, hopefully I'll be able to do it this weekend.
And
we'll get it started for you, okay?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to come like all the way down to the apartment section. You can after the stop or whatever, you build like we can build a staircase all the way down to the AFK area. But yeah.
All right, I have a question. Where do you want me to build the entrance to the nether tunnel? Like, where do you want me to build the entrance to?
Well, preferably the tunnel itself would be somewhere over this way. This way-ish is where the actual ice tunnel, I'm presuming, is probably going to be. And that and that's fine. Yeah, stop somewhere around back here, and then we can go down with stairs or whatever to be able to get into the. We can build fancy tunnels and all to get down here into the control room later.
Or if you pay me 40 diamonds, I can build you an elevator shaft.
Nah, I don't need that. So yes, in the last episode, I did build this Nether Fortress Wither Skeleton farm here. And since that clip that we recorded with Tyler earlier, maybe I'll see it up here, he has actually gone and built, if I can get up there, he has actually gone and built the Nether Tunnel ice boat system. Now, a little bit annoyingly, this has actually positioned itself, and I don't think this was intentional, right next to these beacons here. That just happens to be where it went to. And also we haven't put any protection for the boats in here. So yeah, we will have to be putting some glass or walls. Actually, let's be real. It's going to be glass here. He also put the sign for this right here. I'm going to be building. Actually, well, that brings us on to what we're doing next. Is we're actually going to be building that ice boat station. I'm going to be building it over this way because if you just quickly pop into spectator mode here. Oh, we can see there's some caves nearby. All right, but we need to be able. Why? How did that? Okay, gas. Very annoying. Anyway, we need to be able to get to the AFK point right down here. Which means we're going to need a staircase. I decided we're going to do a staircase because I can't be bothered to do bubble columns. It's just too much effort for me right now. Would be cool, but I'm still not going to bother doing that. So we're going to build the little room where we're going to have the parking space and whatnot over here. We're then going to have a staircase that goes down, and I will just go build that then. Alright, so I have made great progress here. To start with, I put the parking space here. Now I did offset this by 1 block here from the main path because if you do actually just want to turn the corner here to go that way, I didn't want to make it so you would fly right into my parking area here. So there's a little bit of a shift over, and I've punched out these blocks so that it's a little bit easier to get going back this way, hopefully. Anyhow, coming down this way, we have the staircase that goes down to the farm itself. Now, the staircase actually would, if I just went straight, would actually get very close to the height of this here, which was unintentional, but pretty useful. And yeah, it's basically just a staircase. I will do the rest of the decorations and wall ceiling later, but if we can ever get to the bottom of this has taken a while. We got the farm right here. Now though, before I do actually put in any of the decorations here, there's something that I do want to do here. You see, this tunnel between here and, my base is quite long and straight. In fact, for the network that currently exists, it is the longest and straightest tunnel that exists. So I want to cut down on the amount of time this takes to travel, because while this is certainly not too long, it still is a decent length of time, as you could tell there. So I want to make this length of time much shorter by replacing all the packed ice down this specific tunnel with blue ice. Alright, so a while later, let's see how much quicker this journey is. I'm already well over the max speed. Oh, well, this is already feeling faster. Well over the max speed of the previous tunnel. And we're here. That was not particularly long. Good. It has worked. Now, for a bit of decoration work around here. Alright, I have completed the, quote, decorations here. So yeah, I mean, I just continued the looks from inside here at the killing chamber out here. Up the stairs, made sure to include some in-wall lighting, because I couldn't really do it on the ceiling, quite frankly. Up here, we got more of the same, just as a straight hallway. Lights as just end rods across the top here. And then we have the same thing continued out into the parking area. Of course, there's nothing for the tunnels yet. But that does actually bring me to having to put in the glass for the beacons, because now that we have a way down, best safety that. Oh, I can also remove this sign. And probably label this over here. Alright, that'll do it. And now, I think I should turn my attention back to this tunnel here, because while we did the blue ice, the walls are still netherrack, and the ceiling is still netherrack. And I think I have a plan for how I can fix the walls. I don't really know what I want to do with the ceiling yet, but making the walls a texture that won't destroy the bitrate is probably a good idea. So I think I'm going to use some of the materials that are overproduced by this here farm to get a nether tunnel going here. Alright, here's what the tunnel is looking like. Now, I originally planned to do some alternating bone blocks and coal blocks on the wall, but then that was getting a little bit flashy and potential seizure-inducing for people with epilepsy, so I was like, alright, let's not do that. Let's just do raw coal blocks on the wall and bone blocks down the ceiling. Now, this is, however, quite, dimly lit here now, so I'm gonna go install some end rods throughout the ceiling to hopefully... I probably don't have enough on me, but hopefully light this place, or hopefully light up this tunnel sufficiently. Behold, a reasonably well-lit tunnel! Starts to look pretty trippy once you get up to the speed where nothing seems to be moving, and yet everything is moving. I guess the ceiling's moving, but on the ground it just looks like the lighting's fluctuating. And we're at the end already. Wow, look at that! Isn't that fast? Alright, so it's just been a few days since the last clip, and that involved a pretty annoyed and stressful weekend. You see, I was visiting family over the weekend, and the local power company decided, let's have a power outage. No, ordinarily that wouldn't really be a problem for the server here, because set up with a hodgepodge together Arduino board to make sure that if a power outage occurs, the server gets turned back on when power comes back, except Linux, which we're using to run the server, decided that, oh, you know that desktop environment where you run the servers? Yeah, your graphics drivers are cooked, so that's not going to show up for your account and your account only. Because, like, I have another account on the server computer that I was able to log into. That desktop loaded up just fine. But my desktop, which is the one that automatically loads up on the server, decided, nah, that's not going to happen at all. So the whole server was completely down for the entire weekend. I had like no way to fix it remotely. Fixing graphical issues kind of requires you to have access to a graphical device, which I didn't have access to. Like, I was able to, like, get a little bit of diagnostics data, and with, like, the help of a, LLM chatbot, I was able to figure out what the issue was, which, by the way, was actually NVIDIA's fault, apparently, or maybe it was Linux, I don't know. Anyhow, there's been a bit of a delay on that, but thankfully, the last episode has now come out, and I could get back to doing Nether Tunnel stuff, which is going to be this tunnel next, or at least part of this tunnel, because I don't want to go down to the entire length of this tunnel, because while this one, it kind of makes sense going all the way from my base to here, just, do the whole thing. This one, it's less relevant on the other end that this is here, so I'm going to go a decent chunk of the way down this tunnel right now, with the coal blocks on the wall, and then it's just kind of going to get faded out at some point. Yeah. Alright then, my work on this section of the tunnel is complete here. As you can see, well, this tunnel isn't that long to start with. But for actually a decent chunk of it, and surprisingly my perimeter actually goes all the way out to here. Well, yeah, for a good chunk of it I did it, and like I did this transition here. If this ever gets decorated here, that's different from the raw netherrack. These netherrack blocks that I left in the ceiling and walls, they can be replaced with whatever this tunnel actually gets themed with to, do a nice little transition. So yeah, that is, I guess the tunnels going to my farm here completely decorated and de-netherified, I guess, in a certain way. Now, obviously, at the end of this tunnel, we didn't do that fading out thing because I felt like it was specifically because of the blue ice on the floor as well. Probably just a bit better that it just, like, quickly transitions right into this, oh, and we passed it. Quickly transitions right into this room here so that we can, well, maybe I'll come back and decorate this, but I don't know what to do for here because there is actually a lot of things I could do for here. I could theme this to the jungle, because obviously that's where this portal leads out. Could also theme this to the end, because obviously, you know, the end portal is also this way. Things. But I think off camera I actually put the gold blocks here around the tunnel that goes up to the nether roof. Probably should also do something about this, make this a bit better. Actually, you know what, here. Next up, I'm putting some beacons around this area. Alright, beacons have been installed in the area. As you can see, I, don't entirely remember why I wanted to do that anymore, but I have. So I guess that's that. And just to show you that, you know, they're here, and they go up, as beacons do. Up all the way to the sky. I don't know why I'm explaining this. I'm pretty sure you know how beacons work, probably, anyhow. Okay, so I just decided to go ahead and do this area in a jungle theme. And I forgot that leaves look kind of terrible in the nether. So I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have, you know, the jungle wood, nice lush green leaves on the yeah, this is not at all what I had in mind. But short of, I guess, replacing this with like moss or something, I don't think I'm gonna get anything particularly better. Jungle-wise. I probably should, like, do some sort of, like, more pattern on the walls to make it look a little bit more interesting, but, this is fine for now. It's not the base netherrack texture. Apart from here, where I can't be bothered to replace the blocks behind these signs, because obviously that would require me to replace the signs. But anyhow, with that, I think I'm going to end off the video here. This has been a episode of me just screwing around in the nether, so, you know, that's fun. We'll get back to maybe doing some stuff at the base next episode. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But hey, 2 weeks in a row with a video. Maybe this is going to start a trend for the summer, considering I'm currently unemployed. Anyhow, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe. Check out my game, which is linked in the description. Update released recently for that. And I will see you all in the next episode of Coolcraft Season 7. Bye!